Let's talk Tanya for the 14th of Nisan, Erev Pesach of a leap year. In the last few days, we've talked about the importance of yira, of awe, reverence, or what is commonly known as fear of God. And Dr. Rebbe has impressed upon us the importance of every mitzvah emerging from a space of yira. It's not enough to have ava, it's not enough that I love God, I want to do a mitzvah, I want to connect to God, I'm all excited, I'm all passionate. There also has to be that yira, and we need to, before we do a mitzvah, we need to take a moment to center ourselves, ground ourselves, and enter that place of yira. And the obvious question is why? And in today's Tanya, Dr. Rebbe is going to answer it. And let's read a little inside the first words of today's Tanya. Dr. Rebbe says, Mashenkin. On the other hand, if a person studies Torah or does a mitzvah, but only with love for God, of the purpose being that a person knows that they can only connect to God through the Torah and through the mitzvahs, and because they love God so much, they're learning Torah, doing mitzvahs. This is not called the service of a servant. The Torah tells us, you have to serve God. You have to serve Him. We have to be servants of God. And love doesn't make you a servant. And what you do out of love isn't called service. When you're doing something because you love someone or something, then that's your own ego inserted in it. That's what I want to do. That's what I'm excited about. That's what I'm passionate about. I would like to connect. And if we're doing mitzvahs and learning Torah only out of love for Hashem, so we're filled with ourselves, have we made space for God? That's where the importance of yira, of awe, of reverence, of fear of God comes in, because then I'm making space for Him. I'm doing it not because I want to. I'm doing it because of my awe for God, my reverence for God. It's about Him. I've made space for Him inside me. And therefore the Zohar tells us the importance of that fear, that awe, that reverence, the acceptance of the yoke of heaven. And the Zohar tells us, a person who's lacking this element is lacking kedusha, is lacking holiness. The mitzvah is lacking holiness, which is very interesting. And it's a radically different way of thinking of things. Usually we think that why do I need to have this awe, this reverence, this fear of God to prevent me from doing something that is inappropriate, or to motivate me to do something when I'm not in the mood of doing it. But in that case, it's a crutch. Yira is a crutch. I'm better off without it, because if I was excited and passionate about doing the mitzvah, I wouldn't need to have the yira. The Rebbe is saying, no. Yira is not a crutch. Yira is what brings the holiness into the mitzvah. So that's why before we do a mitzvah, we have to take a moment, we have to stop, we have to meditate on God's greatness and arrive at this place of yira. Now, the question becomes, what if I do that meditation and I still don't feel that feeling in my heart? What then? The answer to that question will come in tomorrow's Tanya.